3.1 Enthusiasm for leadership paves the way for success. Amazon creator Jeff Bezos has always been a big player, so he pitched investors the same thing he told his parents. The firm had a 70% risk of loss. Nonetheless, he was able to raise the money he needed, and those who refused to back him at the time would later regret the decision. As a result of fresh capital, the company boosted its software and servers and hired new employees. Everyone worked tirelessly, and there was an unspoken assumption that no one would take the weekend off. Bezos had always believed in personalizing the site for each visitor, and it was time to do that. They developed a system called Similarities that grouped customers with similar purchasing histories and recommended books that would appeal to members of each group. Bezos believed this would be a great advantage for online bookstores over offline competitors. Your products must be of better quality and brand to beat your competitors. Bezos always had the idea of rapid expansion because he believed that was the way to outperform competitors and prevent the big dogs from swooping in. One such dog was Barnes & Noble, a company with years in the book business that was much bigger than Amazon at the time. They first proposed a partnership, but decided to create their website when Bezos rejected it. That only spurred Amazon's growth into other categories, outpacing the bookseller. Bezos is like a chess master playing countless games simultaneously, with the boards organized in such a way that he can efficiently tend to each match. Brad Stone. Key point 2. The giant of the industry, Amazon, began simply as an idea that arose in the offices of a unique firm on Wall Street, D.E. Shaw and Company, Desco. It was founded in 1988 by David E. Shaw, a former professor at Columbia University. He funneled his love for computers and mathematics into using patterns in global financial markets. Desco operated differently from other similar companies, and its employees were mainly scientists and mathematicians rather than financiers. It was a new approach to recruiting workers. The company expected them to apply the power of technology and computers to finance scientifically. One such employee of the company was Jeff Bezos. Before joining this firm, he was already contemplating leaving Wall Street altogether. Still, a headhunter convinced him to meet with executives at another financial firm, one with an unusual pedigree. Luckily, it was perfect for him as it encouraged the kind of workplace lifestyle he needed. Shaw and Bezos met regularly for a couple of hours to discuss ideas for this new tech wave. Bezos would then study the practicalities of those ideas. The everything store wasn't profitable, according to his research. So he created a list of 20 possible product categories. The one that stood out to him was books, an unlimited selection of them in a true superstore. Surveying the environment is essential to your business growth because it lets you know what people need. The idea of selling books online intrigued Bezos, who knew it wouldn't be his company if he pursued it inside D.E. Shaw. So he had to leave his comfortable home on Wall Street. Leaving a lucrative job sounded absurd to many people, particularly his parents. However, he knew he would regret not tapping into online opportunities early on. He spoke to Shaw and made plans to leave the company. Then he and his partner set out to work on his idea. Bezos didn't just trust his intuition and take a step into the unknown, risking stability. He researched the market and prepared the basis for implementing the new idea. Key point 3. Dream big, even if it all starts in the garage. Initially, Jeff Bezos called his company Cadabra Incorporated, but his first lawyer, Todd Tabert, said it sounded too much like cadaver. So he and his wife, Mackenzie, started brainstorming, and they considered names like Awake.com, Browse.com, and even Relentless.com. They even registered these domains. After poking through the dictionary, he hit upon the word Amazon, Earth's largest river, Earth's largest bookstore. He considered this name to be inspired and reflect the whole meaning of the project. On November 1st, 1994, he registered the new URL Amazon.com. The company's first few months were completely different from what it is today. Bezos, his wife, and their founding employee, Shel Caffin, worked out of Bezos's garage in Seattle. Caffin learned how to decode a website, Mackenzie handled the finances, and Bezos learned about selling books. They did everything on a threadbare budget. Bezos first backed the company with $10,000, then got an additional $84,000 in interest-free loans. Later, he got his parents, Jackie and Mike, to invest $100,000, but told them there was a 70% chance they could lose it all. Tiny steps are a sign of victory. Celebrate your small wins and look forward to the better days ahead. Every order during those first early months brought a thrill, even though they only made a tiny profit. Whenever a customer bought something, Amazon's computers rang and everyone gathered to see if they knew a buyer. It was an exciting and, at the same time, inspiring moment. In July 1995, they made the website visible to all web users, and word spread about this new store that offered even the most esoteric books. The first week after their official launch, they got $12,000 worth of orders. The week after, they took $14,000 in charges. But they were only able to ship about $8,000 worth of books. The high number of orders meant every employee had to work long hours, so Bezos had to employ more staff. However, he had found a need and now had to handle how to satisfy it effectively. It was time to expand and gain momentum. Key point 4. Be a bold leader who strives for more. Jeff Bezos gave a presentation at Harvard Business School to graduate students who had studied his business and concluded it had no real future. However, Bezos told them time would show. After the presentation, only a few students spoke to him, unlike the other speakers. Some of those who conversed with him would later join Amazon as its first business school graduates. They were a valuable help at a crucial time in the organization's history. These Harvard graduates researched different categories of products that Amazon could expand toward and presented their findings. Music was the first growth target, then DVDs. At this point, the website's slogan transformed from Earth's largest bookstore to Books, Music, and More, and soon after to Earth's biggest selection, the Everything Store. Amazon continued taking daring risks. One word used recurrently at the time was bold. Instead of focusing on immediate profitability, the corporation made decisions based on the long-term prospect of boosting free cash flow and expanding market share. Bezos's goals were more far-reaching than anyone had expected. When he began employing Walmart directors, this became very clear. It created a rift between Walmart and Amazon and caused plenty of uncomfortable friction within Amazon itself. Bad moments don't stop great companies. They take advantage of the situation and try to become stronger. Amazon took on several projects and acquired various companies, but most resulted in massive losses. There was a growing concern among the management team that Bezos, still a volatile 35-year-old, needed help running the firm. Thus, they proposed that he look for a chief operating officer. As a result, Bezos hired Joe Gali Jr., considering the company needed as many competent managers as possible. Sadly, this decision would be a grave mistake, leading to a leadership crisis within the company. Gali was making moves to become CEO, and the board considered asking Bezos to step down. It took the intervention of a Silicon Valley legend, Bill Campbell, to resolve the issue. He recommended to the board that they stick with their founder. Although experiments sometimes lead to failure, they are still critical to the company's growth. Key point 5. Childhood experiences contribute to defining our culture. Looking back at Jeff Bezos' early life is the easiest way to understand his determination and competitive nature. He and his mother lived alone with his grandparents briefly after leaving his biological father, Ted Jorgensen, an inattentive man with a bad drinking habit. After some time, Jackie started dating Miguel Bezos, a migrant sent to America by his parents to escape the volatile situation in Cuba at the time. The duo met while working as clerks at the Bank of New Mexico, hit it off, and married in April 1968. Miguel's tireless work ethic helped him rise from Cuban migrant to top Exxon, an American multinational oil and gas corporation executive. When Jeff's grandfather retired from the Atomic Energy Commission, he moved to a ranch in Texas. He had a do-it-yourself impulse for almost everything, from repairing windmills to castrating bulls. He would enlist the help of young Jeff in his DIY activities anytime he visited. Your environment and parental background heavily influence your actions and cognitive skills. Bezos' mom, dad, and grandfather played significant roles in his life. His mom nurtured his passions and supported his pursuits. His dad set a good example for him in terms of work ethic and discipline. Also, the summers at his grandfather's ranch helped him develop his inventiveness and sense of independence. It is undoubtedly true that parents and teachers noticed Bezos' uniqueness from a young age. He was both extraordinarily gifted and determined. His childhood was essential to his life as an entrepreneur. The knowledge and support he gained from adults in his childhood enabled him to deal with crises that arose in Amazon effectively. Even in a difficult period, when the challenge was whether society would perceive the company as an explorer and not a conqueror, Bezos found a way out. He shared ideas with his managers in his Amazon.love message. In it, the founder laid out how he wanted his company to conduct itself. Using his outstanding intellect, Bezos tried to figure out why some people adored certain businesses and others repelled them. The Amazon.love message includes his recommendations for improving the company's chances of standing out among other beloved firms. It wasn't enough to be kind, dependable, or client-focused, but being seen as an explorer rather than a champion was crucial. Did you know? According to CNBC, As of 2021, Jeff Bezos was worth $197.9 billion. Key point 6. Cultivate the autonomy and technology of your business. Bezos understood he'd need someone to manage the issues as Amazon extended and became more complicated. He went to Jeff Wilke, a young executive whose intelligent and often impatient managerial skill resembled his own. Wilke joined the company as vice president and general manager of worldwide operations and soon transformed many of its processes, making them more efficient. With a dash of restlessness, he demonstrated a Bezosian style of leadership. Realizing that he had found his chief ally, Bezos quickly promoted Wilke to senior vice president. Jeff Bezos's tendency to criticize staff was easier to tolerate because he was consistent and often right. Bezos never subscribed to conventional ways of doing things. He made this very clear to his employees, calling Amazon the unstore. Bezos instilled in his team that communication was a sign of dysfunction. With him, Amazon put a lot of focus on decentralization and independence, which came to be a high-tech industry norm. Jeff Bezos said Amazon should be considered a tech company instead of a seller. Hence, he hired engineers with vague titles like Chief Scientist and Chief Algorithms Officer. One such addition to the company was Udi Manber, a former computer science professor. Upon joining Amazon, Manber proposed an innovative service. They named it Search Inside the Book. Consumers could use the benefit to explore specific words or phrases in any textbook they bought. Bezos liked the concept and assigned it to him. When Amazon launched the function in October 2003, it was featured in Wired magazine for the first time in a long period. Amazon Web Services has helped launch thousands of internet businesses, ushering in an era of creativity across various fields. Bezos also hired Cal Rahman, a whip-smart, tireless worker with a reputation as a high-demanding manager. Rahman helped make Bezos's dream of Amazon as a data-driven company a reality. Bezos believed in the web's new open culture. To create a platform allowing developers to integrate with the website, Bezos tasked the staff with developing APIs. It began as a lucky journey into what is known today as Amazon Web Services, a platform that enables developers and companies to build cultured and scalable apps. Key point 7. Embrace failure as a normal part of the learning process. In the late 90s, Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning hypothesized that inventing a machine for reading digital books would be impossible. They proposed to work with Bezos on the idea, and although he was impressed with what they had done, other things would prevent them from working together. Eberhard and Tarpenning partnered with others, brought the idea to reality, and got it off to a great start. However, things went sideways later, and the company had to fold. Bezos was paying close attention to the company's fluctuations. He felt that most books would be available in electronic form in the future. Thus, he reasoned that if Amazon did not guide the world into the era of e-books, its opponents would. Bezos felt he needed to act immediately, so he repeatedly showed courage and determination. As a result, he directed his team to develop an e-book gadget capable of disrupting Amazon's lucrative book-selling industry. The Amazon Kindle was the product of this work. What separates a great business person from a novice is the ability to create profitable solutions out of every problem. In the years to come, Amazon battled with its competitors, those who sought to take their business and those whose businesses they sought to take. A reason for the continuous battles was Amazon's desire for everyday low prices and their need to negotiate deals that weren't favorable to others. One such instance was book publishers who were disturbed after Amazon put its e-book pricing at $9.99, allowing the business to solidify its market power. Book publishers thought that wasn't good for them, and they considered different ways to get themselves out of the mess. Led by Steve Jobs, the giant technology company Apple decided to step into the scene. It was obvious to Jobs that Amazon could use its e-book dominance to expand into other digital media. As Jobs prepared to unveil the iPad, Apple reached out to its publishers. They negotiated a deal with book publishers and wrestled them from Amazon's tight grip. Amazon's response was aggressive initially, but they capitulated after being blamed for causing authors and customers incidental damage. It's easier to invent the future than to predict it. Brad Stone. Conclusion. Jeff Bezos' leadership style is a testament to why it's important to balance being a leader with being a follower. He appreciated those who performed excellently and occasionally showed a softer side when necessary. Bezos drove his workers to fatigue, provided little corporate conveniences, and let many crucial employees go without guilt. He could, nevertheless, express thankfulness and unexpected gestures of admiration. A good example was when Rick Dalzell, his longtime right-hand man, decided to retire. 4 months into his retirement, Bezos planned a surprise celebration for him to appreciate his long-term service. Jeff Bezos will keep doing what he's always done. He will try to be faster, put more pressure on his people, make riskier investments, and pursue large and small discoveries. He'll go to whatever lengths to ensure that Amazon becomes more than simply a retailer, but ultimately a firm that does everything. It's just the beginning for Amazon. It'll continue to bloom, demonstrating the tenacity of its founder. The business will thrive until Jeff Bezos leaves or no one stands in his way. Like Bezos, be relentless in pursuing your vision. You may not be on your way to building $1 trillion company or even be interested in it. But deep down, you know what you want to accomplish with your life. Stick to that vision and keep working until it becomes your reality. Try this. 1. Cultivate the habit of celebrating small wins. Set milestones and celebrate each time your team achieves one. 2. Learn to feel trends and determine what will be popular in the future. And 3. Analyze successful businesses and companies to find out what they do.